chapter 13. Romans chapter 13 and verse 1. It was jumping out here. It was jumping out here. Cops everywhere.
The book of Romans.
Everywhere. Give me Romans 13 and 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 1.
Read.
Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers.
Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers. This is Paul speaking right here. This right here is a commandment of God. Matter of fact, hold this. Give me 1 Corinthians 14. Let me say it again. This is Paul speaking right here. And yes, this is a commandment of God. But just to show you that, give me that real quick. 1 Corinthians 14, I think it's 37 or something like that. Read that.
The book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 14 and verse 37.
Read.
If any man think himself to be a prophet,
if there's any man out here that thinks that he's a prophet of God, read.
Or spiritual.
If there's any man or woman out here that thinks that they're a spiritual person, read.
Let him
or her read.
Let him acknowledge that the things that are right unto you
are what?
Are the commandments of the Lord.
If there's anybody out here that's a prophet, if there's anybody out here that's spiritual, you better acknowledge that the things that Paul speaks to you are the commandments of God. Let's see what Paul said. Romans 13 and 1.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers.
Paul said, let every soul of the children of Israel be subject to the higher powers. Yo. Keep reading, priest.
For there is no power but of God.
Because there is no power but of God. God is the one who sets up the higher powers of this world. God is the one who set up the Caucasian to be the higher power in this world. Matter of fact, give me that real quick. What is that? Daniel 4.
Oh,
Daniel 4 and 17. Huh?
The base people?
Yeah, because I know a lot of people out here, they think that the white man is so mighty and so amazing that he ended up ruling the world through his own strength and his own intellect, his own ingenuity. I'm here to tell you, nay, no, hell no. The white man is not ingenious like that to take over the world. Neither is the white woman. Let's see why this Caucasian is the higher power today. Read that real quick.
The book of Daniel, chapter 4 and verse 17.
Bring it out, priest.
The matter.
Read it.
Excuse me. This matter is by the decree of the watchers.
This matter is by the decree of the watchers. This is a group of angels that do nothing but watch. All day, every day. Keep reading, priest.
And the man by the word of the holy ones.
Keep reading.
To the intent that the living may know.
To the intent that the living may know what?
That the Most High ruleth in the kingdom.
My God rules in the kingdom of who?
Of men.
My God rules in the kingdom of men and what?
And give it to whomsoever he will.
And he gives it to whosoever he will, yo. My God gives this earth, this world, these kingdoms in this earth, in this world, to whosoever he will. Right now, it's the so-called white man. Finish it out.
And set up over it the basis.
The what?
The basis.
The what?
The basis.
The basis of who?
Of men.
He setteth up over the kingdoms of this world, the basis of men.
Right.
Guess who the higher power in this world is today? The so-called white man. The white man is a base man. I know, at first, I know they can't believe that. Somebody gonna listen to this video and be like, no, not my white man. He can't be base. He's so great. He's so great. Go back to the book of Romans chapter 13. Romans chapter 13, verse 1 again, priest.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 1. Let every soul be subject unto the higher powers.
Read.
For there is no power but of God.
There's no power but of God. My God rules in the kingdom of men. He setteth up the bases of men over the kingdom of men.
Right.
All the higher powers you see today are of the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Keep reading, priest.
That be ordained of God.
Read.
Whosoever therefore resist the power.
Whosoever therefore resist the powers, read.
Resisteth the ordinance of God.
You resist the ordinances of God. You resist an order of God. The order of God says obey the powers that be. So if you resist, you're doing the opposite. You are doing the antithesis of that statement made, of that commandment given. Read that part again.
Resisteth.
Read that part from the top.
From the top. Whosoever therefore resisteth the power.
Read.
Resisteth the ordinance of God.
Read.
And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
They that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
Facts.
What is that damnation talking about? Hold this, give me Ezra. Ezra chapter 7. Those that resist to obey the higher powers, they will receive to themselves damnation. What is this damnation, y'all? What is this destruction that you will receive if you transgress the order of God? Give me Ezra 7, start at 26.
The book of Ezra, chapter 7 and verse 26.
Uh-huh.
And whosoever will not do the law of thy God.
Whosoever will not do the law of thy God. The law of your God says, obey the powers that be. Whosoever will not do the law of their God, read.
And the law of the king.
Whoever will not do the law of the king is the power that be. The king is the ruler that was set up by God. Read that part again.
And the law of the king.
Uh-huh.
Let judgment be executed speedily upon him.
Judgment be executed speedily upon him. That judgment is damnation. Let's see what this damnation is. Let's see what this judgment is. Keep reading.
Whether it be unto death.
Whether it be unto death. You know, some people get the death penalty. But some murderers get the death penalty. That's a judgment from God. That's damnation. Keep reading, priest.
Or to banishment.
Whether it be banishment, read.
That's exile.
Yep, exile, right.
Or to the confiscation of goods.
Or whether it be the confiscation of goods. You know, like when the IRS come back and they start to garnish your paycheck.
Or repo.
Or when they start to repo the car. Yeah, that's confiscation of goods right there. That's called judgment and damnation. That happens to those who resist the powers that be. That happens to the men and women who refuse to obey the powers that be. Keep reading, priest.
Or to imprisonment.
Or to imprisonment. If you refuse to obey the powers that be, you can end up in a city jail in Portsmouth. You can end up in a city jail in Norfolk, Suffolk, Newport News, Hampton, Virginia Beach. You can end up in a city jail anywhere throughout the country. Shit, and even worse, you might end up in a prison. You might end up in one of those state penitentiaries, one of those federal penitentiaries. If you resist the powers that be, damnation can come in the form of imprisonment. Judgment can come in the form of imprisonment. Keep reading, priest.
Excuse me. Verse 27. Blessed be.
No, you ain't finished it out.
Oh, that was it. That was it. 26.
Oh, that was it? No,
Yep.
yeah, we missed one. I need it again. Read it again from the top then.
All right. And whosoever will not do the law of thy God.
Uh-huh.
And the law of the king.
Read.
Let judgment be executed speedily upon him.
Read.
Whether it be unto death.
Uh-huh.
Or to banishment.
Or to banishment, read.
Or to the confiscation of goods.
Uh-huh.
Or to imprisonment.
Or to imprisonment. Never mind. You ain't missed one. Go back to Romans 13 for me. Go back to Romans chapter 13, verse 3 again.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 3.
Uh-huh.
For the rulers are not a terror.
Verse 2 then.
Verse start at 2?
Yep,
Excuse me.
bring it out.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 2.
Read.
Whosoever therefore resisteth the power,
Uh-huh.
resisteth the ordinance of God.
Whosoever resists the power, you resist the order of God. Read.
And they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation.
When you resist the order of God, you bring upon yourself damnation, judgment. And that judgment and damnation comes in the confiscation of goods. It comes in banishment. It comes with imprisonment. Or it can come with death, yo. It can come with death. Keep reading, priest.
For rulers are not a terror to good works.
Hey, rulers, the powers that be, they are not a terror to good works. Hold that and give me Romans 7. The powers that be are not a terror to good works. The question becomes, what are the good works? According to the Bible. Romans 7, bring that out.
The book of Romans, chapter 7 and verse 12.
Read.
Wherefore the law is holy.
The law is holy, read.
And the commandments holy.
And the commandment is holy, read.
And just
And what?
and good.
And just and good. The law is good. The commandments are good. Go back to Romans 13, read that again.
The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good works.
Hey, the rulers are not a terror to good works. Meaning if you're doing the commandments, you ain't got nothing to worry about. Matter of fact, let me show you what the commandments of God say. Go to Exodus 20. Go to Exodus chapter 20. Start at verse 12. The Bible says rulers, the powers that be, are not a terror to good works. If you're doing the good works of the Lord, you have no need to be afraid.
Right.
You have nothing to be afraid of. You have nothing to fear. Give me that real quick.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 12.
Bring it out.
Honor thy father and thy mother.
If you honor your father and your mother, you don't have to be afraid of the powers that be. If you honor your father and your mother, you do not have to fear the powers that be, yo. Because the powers that be, the rulers, are not terrors to good works. And a good work is to honor your father and your mother. But how many people out here are honoring their fathers and their mothers today? How many? Not many. Jump down to verse 13, priest.
Verse 13. Thou shalt not kill.
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not murder. If you keep that commandment, you don't have to be afraid of the powers that be, yo. You don't have to be afraid of the white man and the police and the judicial system and the prison house. If you keep that commandment that says, thou shalt not. Give me read verse 15.
You want to just read down?
No, verse 15. Skip 14.
All right.
14 is thou shalt not commit adultery, right?
Yep.
Skip 14. Read that.
Verse 15. Thou shalt not
steal. The reason
steal.
why I skipped thou shalt not commit adultery is because these whores and whoremongers are not being punished for fornication today. That's the only reason why I skip it. Oh yeah, I'm talking about a white man though. That AIDS come from God. That AIDS, that syphilis, that gonorrhea, crap,
child support.
That comes from the Lord. That's the Lord judging you. The white man can't judge you on that one. Oh, never mind. Yeah, the white man will judge you with that child support.
Right, that child support.
You're right, never mind.
The alimony.
I ain't had those problems, right?
Hey, look, the alimony.
Hey, bring it out. Read the next one. Read 15 anyway.
All right. 15. Thou shalt not steal.
Thou shalt not steal. Hey, yo, thou shalt not steal. Stop being a damn thief, and you don't have to worry about the powers that be. Stop being a damn thief. You don't have to worry about the powers that be. And thou shalt not steal goes into thou shalt not rob either. Real talk. Stop being a thief. Stop being a jackboy. Stop masking up to rob from your brother, and you don't have to fear the powers that be, yo.
Facts.
Read the next one, priest.
Thou shalt not bear false witness.
Thou shalt not
against
bear
thy neighbor.
false witness against your neighbor. Read the next verse. Y'all brothers believe in the Bible?
Thou shalt not
what about my
covet.
brother in the white shirt? You believe in God, brethren? Nay? Damn. None of my brothers believe in God out this junk. Damn. Anyway, don't worry. Read it again.
Oh, okay. White man, they God.
I know. I see it. Matter of fact, go back to Romans 13. Go back to Romans 13. Nobody believes in God. Well, everybody out here believes in some God. Everybody out here believes in some God. And the majority of people out here believe in the God of the white man. Your God's a Caucasian. That's why you can't hear the words of God. Romans 13, pick up where you were.
The book of Romans, chapter 13. Yep. The book of Romans, chapter 13 and verse 3. For rulers are not a terror to good work.
Rulers are not a terror to the men and women that keep the commandments. The men and women who apply thou shalt not kill, they have nothing to be afraid of. The men and the women that apply thou shalt not steal, they have nothing to be afraid of. The men and women that honor their father and their mother, you ain't got nothing to fear. And the list goes on and on and on. Rulers are not a terror to good works.
Fact.
Rulers are not a terror to the men that do God's law. Read, priest.
But to the evil.
But to who?
To the evil.
The rulers are a terror to you men and women who refuse to keep that commandment, thou shalt not kill. The rulers are a terror to you men and women who refuse to keep the commandment that says, thou shalt not steal. The rulers are a terror to all you black men that want to rob your brother. That's who the rulers are a terror to, yo. Keep reading, priest.
Would thou then not be afraid of the power?
You should be afraid of the power, because those people that have power over you, they have power to confiscate your goods. They have power to banish you. They have power to imprison you. They have power to put you to death. They'll put you to death with a lethal injection inside of a prison, or they'll put you to death in the middle of the street of your own neighborhood. Y'all seen it happen.
In front of your family.
We all saw it happen. We seen it happen dozens of times. We got the internet. We know how the game go. Keep reading, priest.
Will thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good.
Do that which is good. Do the commandments of God. Learn to love your neighbor as you love yourself. Learn to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, body, and soul. Do that which is good. Read.
But Oh, excuse me.
Do
that which is good. Thou shalt have praise of the same.
Do that which is good. And he said, we shall have praise of the same. You know why? Hold that. Give me Deuteronomy 4. Give me Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 5. He said, do that which is good, and you'll have praise of the same. If you do the commandments, the powers that be, they're going to praise you. That's what God is saying. And this is why. Deuteronomy 4 and 5.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 4, starting at verse 5.
Read.
Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments.
God has taught us statutes and judgments. God has taught us what is good. Read.
Even as the Lord my God commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether ye go to possess it.
Read.
Keep therefore and do them.
Keep therefore and do them. Do God's statutes and his judgments. Read.
For this is your wisdom.
For this is your what?
For this is your wisdom.
For this is your wisdom, Israelite man. Read.
And your understanding.
And this is your understanding, Israelite man. Read.
And the sight of the nation.
In the sight of all the nations. That's supposed to be your wisdom in the sight of Akbar in there. The God's statutes and judgments is supposed to be your wisdom and understanding in the sight of those white cops that I pulled up earlier. That's supposed to be your wisdom understanding. If you did God's statutes and judgments, you will have praise of the powers that be. Straight up. Finish, read that part again. This is your wisdom.
Verse 6. Keep therefore and do them. For this is your wisdom.
And what?
And your understanding. And the sight of the nation.
Read.
Which shall hear all these statutes.
Which shall hear all these statutes and what?
And say.
And say what?
Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding.
You will have praise of the same. Do that which is good. God's statutes and judgments are good. Do that which is good. And the powers that be will praise thee. They will praise you. They will say, surely this is a wise and understanding people.
Right.
Go back to Romans 13 again.
The book of Romans, chapter 13, starting at verse 4.
Read.
For he is the minister of God.
Go back to 3 then.
Sorry, at 3?
Yep.
For the rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil.
But to the evil, read.
Will thou then not be afraid of the power?
Better be, read.
Do that which is good.
Do the commandments of God, read.
And thou shalt have praise of the same.
And you will have praise. The powers that be will praise you if you do that which is good. If you do God's statutes and judgments, which is supposed to be your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations. Yo. Keep reading, priest.
Verse 4. For he is the minister of God to thee for good.
He is the what?
The minister of God to thee for good.
He is the minister of God to thee for good. Read.
But if thou do that which is evil.
But if thou do that which is evil, if you break God's commandments, read.
Be afraid.
Be afraid. Be very afraid. Read.
For he beareth not the sword in vain.
Because God doesn't bear the sword in vain. You know what the sword is? Hold this and give me Psalm 17. The sword is the powers that be. They're the sword. They're the sword. Real talk. When you saw all those Caucasian cops come up here, that was God bearing the sword. God swinging his sword. Because there was some evil going on out this jank. Whatever it was some evil going on out this junk. Read it again. Read that real quick.
The book of Psalms, chapter 17 and verse 13. Arise, O Lord. Disappoint him. Cast him down. Deliver my soul from the wicked.
Deliver my soul from who?
The wicked. Which is thy sword.
Which is thy sword. The white man is the wicked. The white man, this is the power that be. This is also the sword of God. And God don't bear that sword in vain.